Hello, welcome. It is me, Danyell Carmelita, your favorite tarot reader and astrologer without makeup and my pajamas, keeping it real because we're in the energy of Aries. And I quickly wanted to put up this video. There's other things behind the scene, but we won't bore you with that. Welcome. If you are into astrology, if you're into transits, if you're into predictions, you are at the right place. Get ready because this week we have a lot of things happening in the sky, okay? That's going to affect the collective and it's serving up a cocktail of some energy of dreams, deception, illusions, secrets. We also have new beginnings, right? Very energy of Aries. We're leaving the Pisces energy of endings and going into a new start and fresh beginnings with Aries. We got two planets, right? Retrograding currently in the sky. And these both planets, Mercury and Venus, are going to be entering Pisces. That happens this week. That is a big doozy. And on top of that, they are going to hit a very critical point at a very critical degree with Neptune. Very huge energy. And on top of that, we have an eclipse going on this week. That energy you're probably already feeling if it's going to affect you. And then lastly, this is a big, big doozy. This week is huge. And normally the last week of the month, I just go, okay, you guys, I did that in my monthly video. Go check out my monthly video because we need to move on to the next month. But no, we have to discuss this week. And lastly, we're closing out the week, the last day of the month. Neptune will be entering Aries. Okay. So that is some fiery energy this week. And buckle up because it's going to be a very special ride. And yeah, all of us will be affected with this. All right. So let's get started with this video.
3, 2, 1.
I love you.
So here we have the dates, and I've discussed Monday. I always discuss Monday in a previous video, just in case I don't do Monday. It's my security blanket for you guys. But we already discussed this, but I will discuss it again. And Monday, March 24th, we have the Sun conjunct Mercury. That is a Kazemi, and Mercury's retrograding in the sign Aries. Also, we have on the 27th, Venus will enter while it's retrograding Pisces. We've been here before, but now it's retrograding. So we'll see what that looks like. Once it enters Pisces, it will be conjunct Neptune at 29 degrees. This will be a crucial energy. We'll see what this looks like. Okay. I'm going to discuss that on the 27th on the 29th of March. Right after that, Mercury, because it's been sitting close to Venus, is going to be retrograding in Pisces and it will be conjunct Neptune. The following energy on the 29th. So we'll see how that goes. This is daily energy because Mercury moves fast every day. So we will be feeling this on the 29th. Also on the 29th, we have a partial solar eclipse in Aries. I've done a video on all of these things so far. Everything that I've discussed so far right now, I have done a video on. Actually, I've done a video on all of these individually. So on March 30th, then we have Neptune entering Aries. Okay, so what does that mean if I did a video on that? That means that we have videos that not only did I do a video on it, but we have done horoscopes on all of it. You can look at your sign. I went over Mercury retrograding not only once, but twice in the sign of Pisces. So we could talk about that. If you want to look at that, the videos are linked down below, and the videos or episodes are either on my podcast or on my YouTube. They're both on both things. So you can check those out. And also I've discussed the eclipse. I've also discussed not only the eclipse and how it'll affect Elon and Trump and the collective and predictions, but I also talked about how it would affect you and did the signs there. All of these videos are on my playlist of 2025. I've also done a very detailed video on Neptune entering Aries. And let me see if I can actually show you. Let me see if I have a picture of what that thumbnail looks like for the people who are listening. I'm not sure if I thought I saved it. Actually, maybe it's on my desktop here. Yeah, it is. Here he is. And I have a video just on that. I talk about the predictions. I also talk about the horoscopes and talk about tarot with all that. It's very detailed, you guys. So, and it is on my podcast. If you look at my podcast episodes, we have them. So Neptune entering Aries, I talk about that. Look at that title. I also talk about who's going to be affected by this Aries eclipse. I talk about that. And don't worry, we will talk about all this again today. I talk about Mercury retrograding, and I say the alert, big regrets. And again, playlist. These are things, if you really want to get into it, Mercury retrograding, the destiny shift that will be happening for us in a collective. I've talked about that, and that's just a few of the videos that I talked about all this. Okay. So I just want you to know that you've been warned several times on what is happening this week. Hence why I'm in my pajamas and so laid back, because I've done this several times. But we are going to bring it back. Okay. We are going to discuss it for everyone in the back, for everyone who's new here. It's okay. You're not late to the party. Join the party. You can learn things like everyone else. Okay. So we're going to talk about this and really get it started. Now, on the 24th of March, which is today, and if you are watching this, I have my chart up showing you guys that actually and I'm annoyed by how it looks, and I want to see if I can change it. No, change it to me playing around with, here we go. I think this is it. This is it here. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, sorry for you guys who are listening. I was just playing around with the logistics of the looks. Anyway, okay. So let's talk about today. And like I said, I've done detailed videos on all of it. So we'll talk about this week. So the sun is going to be in Cazimi with Mercury, right? They're sitting close together. Cazimi means that they're hugging, okay? Mercury moves pretty fast and it's hugging at 4 degrees. 4 degrees is a Cancer degree. Cancer means home. Cancer means your past. Cancer means homebody, moody, sensitive, okay? Yeah, holding on to grudges. You could be dealing with something of safety, and there could be an awareness of something from your mom as well, okay? But usually a Cazimi is usually positive, and there's reflection, internal reflection. There's two type of Cazimis, one that's retrograding, one that's coming back. So this could be more internal, but there's enthusiastic mind. You're very creative with thinking and communicating. There's warm communication because the sun's sitting at that Mercury. Also, it's very direct, and it's very coming across as one point of view because it's dealing with your ego and the self. Very self-centered opinions could be happening, and focusing on the self. Strong intellect. You could be overstimulated. You could be overheated mentally. But when you have Cazimis, there is a sense of clarity. And there's a sense of a certain voice, and having a voice, and having direction, and having personal identity. You could be reclaiming your voice and your power. You could be very courageous with things that are being said. And usually when there's a Cazimi, there's huge announcements. So let's see what secrets, not even secrets, but some bold statements that's going to be said, because you do have it in the theme of Aries, okay? Aries is really about not being afraid of what you're going to say. Now, Venus is sitting pretty close to this Cazimi. So Venus is also involved with this, and this is talking about, and Venus is retrograding in a sign Aries. So you're talking about having some balance, having some caring about yourself when it comes to relationships. And yeah, okay. And being a leader, okay? So very courageous conversations and inner truth, revisiting past discussions with new eyes, and breakthrough with confidence, and you're very passionate, and there's creative spark. Now, during this Cazimi, be mindful of being impulsive with things you're saying. Don't jump to conclusions. Anytime Mercury is retrograding in Aries, please don't jump to conclusions. And you could be resolving some unresolved conflicts, okay? This is the energy of reclaiming your voice, revisiting your truth, and taking some bold, because Aries is very bold, actions when it comes to rooted energy and clarity, okay? But some predictions that could be happening today. We could be having some bold public call outs, okay? Some bold statements. Someone is publicly coming out and saying, I've been betrayed, or I'm going to tell it all, or I'm going on Instagram Live and I'm going to do some truth bombs, some whistleblowing, or maybe this is a redemption kind of discussion or interview, okay? Also, I've discovered with this Venus retrograding in Aries, there's a lot of discussion of periods, menstrual cycles, because you are talking about women and blood. Aries does, Mars represents blood, red. So you do have that. Menopause also, a lot of discussions of that. We have leadership under fire that could be happening. Are there some backlashes, maybe some tweets, or maybe deleting tweets, or maybe posting something on Instagram and they're deleting it, or an email being lost in regards to leadership. and maybe some footage could be resurfacing in regards to reassessing authority or some bold decisions. There could be conflict on freedom of speech. Now, freedom of speech, we are dealing with that Pluto in Aquarius at the same time. We have that currently going on. But Mercury, Aries is the ruler of self and your true identity. And Mercury rules communication and social media and emails and tweets, or X, if you want to call it that. So there could be some free speech happening in some debates or some censorship with that. Okay. Journalists, independent journalism, independent podcasts, all that could be a highlight of some sort today. Okay. Anyone trying to be independent and breaking free from a relationship, a company, a corporation, partnerships that could be announced, like a split of some sort, maybe some labels or contracts, and you're no longer a part of that. You decided to be independent. Maybe there is a bold apology being said that could be happening, or very explosive debates or verbal showdowns could be happening on TV. This is the whole time Mercury's in Aries, and it will be leaving soon. So we'll see how this plays out. Some coming out stories, people being very bold. I discussed last week that we had one of the singers from En Vogue deciding to be like, to tell everyone, I live in my car, I'm homeless. And that's a very bold statement, but you do have that. Now, new gender energy, because Venus is in Aries. So there could be something, because Aries represents something new. Okay. But career shifts, some bold changes. Okay. Now, and this is all about the identity too. So that's why I said gender, because people identify with their gender a lot. But there could be some type of startup, something with sports too. A lot of trash talking with sports. Remember, Aries, most of the fire signs are about athletes. So I discussed that in my predictions last week. A lot of things discussing athletes, and I know that George Foreman passed away. I think either yesterday or today. So that is another athlete. A lot of discussions of athletes is going to be brought up and could be announced as of today. Okay. Now on the 27th, this is going to be big. Okay. All this week we have some big things happening. Okay. So on the 27th, we have Venus is now entered Pisces. Okay. Venus was in Aries. While Venus was in Aries is all about you and your relationships and you being alone and single, or being a leader of some sort. So that's why you had a lot of discussions of breakups, or a lot of discussions of fights within a relationship, because Aries wants to be alone and wants to be independent. And it doesn't like to be in the sign of Venus, because Venus likes to have a relationship. Well, now it's in Pisces. Venus kind of likes to be in Pisces because it's about compassion and relationships and being compliant of some sort. However, it's retrograding. Okay. So let me just tell you what Venus alone means when you're talking about Venus. What is it? Now I am a circle. When you're talking about Venus, I want to tell you what that means alone. Okay. Venus alone, you know what? I can't concentrate, you guys, because I like this backdrop. Okay. Venus, themes of Venus. Okay. So if you don't know astrology, you're new to astrology, I like to remind you, Venus represents our love and our relationships. Okay. And Venus is retrograding. So while this planet is retrograding, that means there's some redoing, there's some reapplying, reassessing. The planet's not working at its best. Okay. So that's talking about love and relationships. You're talking about beauty and aesthetics. And you could be fine. You could be like, I'm dressing fine. I'm looking great. I'm being really creative. It may not be affecting you, but it could be affecting others and the collective. Okay. Venus represents your self-worth, your value, pleasure, enjoyment. Venus is the ruler of Taurus. So whenever you think of Taurus, you think about great food, smelling good, a great candle, comfortable robes, and being very cozy. That's more that Venus energy. Okay. So pleasure and enjoyment, very luxury, your senses. Okay. Venus also represents money and resources, what you naturally attract financially, and the moolah. Okay. Personal finances, material comfort. It's about harmony, peacekeeping, balance. Venus is about the scales. It's the ruler of Libra. So it wants to have some balance. Venus is also in charge of law and justice. So that's why you have that Blake Lively thing that's been happening while Venus is retrograding. It also has been dealing with the eclipse of Aries and Libra. We'll get into that a little bit later. Also attraction, because it is what you naturally attract. Venus is also the ruler of parties, social events. Okay. When it enters Pisces, First, the social events could be fighting. If you went to a party recently and it's a lot of fights, or if you spontaneously went to a party or the party didn't work out, it closed all of a sudden. That's that Venus retrograding in Aries. Venus also is in charge of creativity and arts, is in charge of feminine party, it's in charge of teams and a partnership and desires and romance. Now, when it enters Pisces, right? Pisces is all about your dreams and your imagination, spirituality, things that are things you cannot touch, the intangible things, okay? Deep connection with the divine. You're talking about your meditation, your intuition, that psychic energy, your soul's truth. That is Pisces. Pisces is also compassion. It's oneness. There's no boundaries with Pisces. It's like we all love each other. There's empathy. Pisces also doesn't want to be facing the truth. It doesn't want reality. So it wants to escape. So you have addictions, you have avoidance. Neptune is in Pisces, is at 29 degrees. If you are paying attention to the collective, you see that there's more crazy people than ever. You may not think they're crazy. Maybe you're a part of the craziness, but I'm just keeping it real. But the Neptune and Pisces is about the homelessness, people who are lacking, people who are insecure. Neptune and Pisces is about delulu, illusions, deception, rose-colored lens, secrets, things that you fear, okay? Now they're coming out to the light because Neptune is in 29 degrees of Pisces, and it's going to be affecting us big time this week, okay? Neptune is also in Pisces. Neptune is ruler of Pisces. If I'm talking too fast, I'm sorry. I'm trying to hurry up and do this video because my daughter's on spring break and I want to chill. Okay. Hence why I'm in my pajamas with no makeup. But Neptune is also about surrendering and releasing and forgiving. It is the last, Pisces is the last zodiac sign of astrology. So now you need to release things. You need to surrender. You need to forgive in order to start new, to start that new journey in Aries. But there's also a sacrifice. There's a sense of martyrism and letting go and trusting for a greater purpose. Okay. It's very creative. Venus is creative, Neptune, Pisces, all very creative. So there's art, there's music. Creativity when it comes to Pisces is more of a feeling of creativity. So it's like when you see that art and it really touches you, when you hear that poem, when you hear that song and you're like, oh my gosh, like this is really touching my soul. That is that Pisces energy, okay? It's also into romance, okay? The idealism of romance, like these belief of a soulmate, fated love, of the fairy tale version of love, okay? May not be realistic. There may be a miss there. Highly sensitive energy. There's emotional deepness. It's also talking about endings. It's talking about deaths. It's talking about conclusions. It's talking about the things you cannot see, the darkness. Okay. And there's healing and redemption. Okay. Because you are forgiving, there is compassion. So that is what you have with Pisces, and that is what Venus represents. So now let's put it together. What is Venus retrograding in Pisces representing? Okay. And this is going to happen this week. It's going to hit 29 degrees. Not only is it going to hit 29 degrees, but then you're also talking about that it's going to be 29 degrees retrograding. 29 degrees alone is a very strong degree. And it's going to be touching Neptune. Neptune is a big planet, and Neptune is at 29 degrees. Okay. Now, the planet that's moving is Venus. Venus is the planet that's moving. So that means that that theme is going to be bigger than the actual Neptune. However, this rule is different because Neptune is the ruler of Pisces and Venus is in Pisces. So the Pisces theme is going to be strong as well. Okay. So let me just tell you some predictions that can happen while Venus is in retrograde in Pisces. And we'll get into Neptune a little bit later, but it's the same thing. Okay. But while Venus is retrograding in Pisces, there's a reevaluating, there's a redoing. The planet is not working. So that means what we naturally attract is not working its best. That means our finances, the parties, all that stuff is not working its best. However, disclaimer, if you already have a Venus retrograding in your chart, you're fine. You're used to this energy. It's working for you. You might even gain something because that's what we discussed with DK and Normani. If you know them, DK is a football player. He has a huge contract. He just asked to be engaged. He just asked to marry Normani, and they're engaged. Normani has Venus retrograding in Gemini in her chart. It's not in Pisces. It's an immutable sign, so it's working for her. Okay, I hope that's an understanding. So if you have it retrograding in your chart, you're good. Okay. Everyone else, pay attention, okay? And you could pay attention for the collective. Now, it's reevaluating relationships, okay? Maybe someone from your past. If you are a Pisces, someone's going to be calling you from your past. I'm just telling you, it's going to happen. Okay. That could be happening. There could be a shifting of values because Venus does represent your personal values and what you're worth. Okay. It could be something like, how do I look? What about my wealth? What about my finances? All that could be reassessed and redoing. Okay. It's heightening your sensitivity, emotions. Pisces is very sensitive. Okay. So you could be very vulnerable, or you could be very empathetic to others. Now you're really giving. Maybe you're giving too much. Okay. Maybe you're sacrificing too much when it comes to a relationship. Okay. Artistic and spiritual energy. It could be more internal. You could be having a lot of introspection, thinking about solitude, thinking about yourself, thinking about religion, maybe even going to a spiritual party and there's some like awareness. At the same time, there could be confusions and illusions because Neptune likes to bring the fog. Neptune likes to bring the delulu. Okay. So there could be a lot of illusions when it comes to love and in regards to partnerships. It doesn't have to be just a love partnership, it could be a business partnership. Okay. Anything dealing with a team, there's confusion, there's no boundaries. People are lost in a sauce. Okay. Now, the shift from Aries being very bold to Pisces being very lost and insecure, know that there will be a shift in these situations. Okay. So you can have a lot of inward reflection. There could be some healing happening and you're redoing. There's a lot of empathy. Okay. Old lovers, old soulmates could be resurfacing. Okay. Someone will definitely be calling you and they could be causing some confusion. Just know that. Illusions in romance, breaking down, being awareness of this. Okay. The fantasy and being confused in love definitely could be happening there. Okay. Pisces also represents being attracted to a spiritual element or not necessarily a guru, but like a spiritual energy, someone who's very spiritual. That could be happening here. Okay. Let's see what we have here. Let's see. I have Venus retrograding and my Venus is in the 12th house. Okay. Well, Greek sun. Yes. I'm reading a comment and Greek, you are comfortable with this energy. You're fine, especially in that 12th house energy. You're fine. Okay. Now, also, too, deep emotional healing through love that could be happening. There could be a lot of self love and spiritual practicing, like maybe you're reconnecting with this. Again, romanticizing the past. Things from the past could be happening. It represents secrets, too. So, hidden things, secret relationships that could be revealed. Okay. Oh, I would love to see that tea. I'm a little nosy, so I like to see that. There could be some creative blocks. The boundaries in love and the money issues. You could be giving emotionally or financially, and maybe you don't have the money for that. You're talking about charity. Pisces represents charity. It represents compassion. It represents support, and your support could probably be lacking because Pisces represents that you can't see the support. So maybe you don't know you're getting support, and you're actually getting support, or vice versa. They don't even see you to support you. That could be happening. Okay, a lot of financial confusion or delay with finances. The divine timing and letting go. You could be like, should I be letting go? Should I not? Or maybe it will be working for you because it's repeating. Okay. Because now it's back to it saying, like, no, 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 you didn't release, you didn't forgive. And now it's time to forgive. Okay. When it comes to beauty and aesthetics, there could be a little lost in a sauce. Okay. Like you becoming more fluid, meaning that you could be like, oh, I really like the way Danyell Carmelita dresses. And you think you can take on to my image. You think you can dress like me, but you look a little confused with the aesthetic. That could be happening. Okay. Just so you know. And when it comes to the self-worth, because Venus represents the self-worth, that could be in an insecure or very sensitive energy. It could be very in an energy of lacking. Okay. Meaning that you feel like you are not worth anything and you're reassessing your personal wealth. Remember boundaries with relationship. Someone could be like, well, no, you told me not to come, but I came anyway. It's like, but I told you not to come. Disrespecting the boundaries. That could be happening with Pisces energy and retrograding. Okay. So just know that. Let me see if I didn't do anything else. If I didn't discuss, spirituality, I talked about that, aesthetics, self-worth, harmony. There could be some the confusion with your balance of harmony, okay, and your inner peace, or maybe there is major inner peace and you're reflecting on that and redoing it. Okay. Now, when it conjuncts, here, we'll talk about the conjunction. I want you to know that, first of all, Venus is retrograding. So we are talking about redoing, reassessing, repeating. Venus is not working. Pisces, water sign, very emotional, very moodable energy. Okay. And if there's spirituality, dreams, illusion, compassion, escapism, you're dealing with the subconscious. Okay. So you have that. Now conjunct. Conjunct means that they're sitting close together. They're sitting so close together that they're becoming one. So now your relationships are more involved with Pisces energy stronger than ever, because Neptune is the planet that's ruling Pisces. It is the planet of illusions, of dreams, of spirituality, of creativity, of transcendence, okay? Of confusion, of deception, of escapism. So now they are close together. So now it's going to be this week stronger than ever. There could be a lot of illusions in love, okay? I need everyone this week to be very grounded. I need you to practice some very practical earth energies, okay? So hang out with your Capricorns, hang out with your Virgos, hang out with your Tauruses. Tauruses could be going through it. Leave them to side because Venus is the ruler of Taurus. But hang out with the Capricorns and Virgos because they're going to give you that grounded, practical, tangible results. You want to focus on the tangible and not what's not really here. Okay. So 29 degrees also is a very important degree. Okay. I want you to know when there were fires in LA, that was Mars retrograding in Cancer at the retrograding in Cancer at 29 degrees, hitting LA's MC at 28 degrees or 29 degrees. 29 degrees is a very important degree. Okay, 15, 29, and 0, important degrees. So when you have it at 29 degrees, you're talking about it's associated with endings, it's associated with culminations, endings again, a closing of some sort, a urgency. There's an intensity. It feels like it has to hurry up and do something. And then the planet's retrograding. So Venus is not working the way it should. Venus is a very positive planet. Venus is a benefic planet. Jupiter is a positive planet, and Venus is a positive planet. And now it's not working its best. Okay. So there could be concerns of love, relationship, values, spirituality, your dreams, your imagination, your psychic ability, your intuition. All that is in question. Okay. So let me see what else I have here: sensitivity, enduring, gentleness, grace, spiritual ideas, love and friendships, being codependent. That is an issue that could be happening 100% while we have this energy this week. Okay. A lot of illusions when it comes to any romance or partnerships or a team or a group. Group is more Aquarius. So I'm just going to say a team. Okay. Anyone who you know that's a Libra, if they're acting a little cuckoo, let it go. It's because their ruling planet is a little lost in the sauce. Anyone who you know is a Taurus, then if they're acting a little cuckoo, let it go. And anyone dealing with any energy that you're dealing with at a spa, anywhere where you're like, this food tastes gross, that is because Venus is in charge of that. Venus is in charge of taste. Venus is in charge of our senses and our aesthetics, and it's a little lost in the sauce. So you need to have some forgiveness and release the energy for this week. Come back next week, okay? So you may be at a restaurant and you're like, this restaurant always was amazing, and now today it sucks. Well, that's because what we have going on, okay? What else? We have confusion, over idealizing a relationship, just major codependency. Also, there's a sense of erotic here, meaning sexual energy, because Pisces is about not facing reality and addiction to, I want to say, can you say the word that rhymes with horn, that starts with a P? There could be something there. So I just want you to be an awareness of that, because that is also an addiction too. And there can be some awareness with that with a partner. Okay. And you have to review that and redo it, or you have to confront it. Okay. A lot of deceptions, a lot of confusions. Okay. A lot of things revisiting from the past as well. Okay. So that is what we have on the 27th. And then little bit after the 27th, right? We have, first of all, Mercury on the 29th will be in a sign Aries. On the 29th, we have the eclipse. So before I talk about the eclipse, let me talk about Mercury in Aries. Okay. Mercury in Aries is going to be retrograding at 0 degrees. That's a very potent degree. Remember, I told you there's 3 potent degrees: 0, 15, and 29. Now, this means that potent here means that it's very, very strong. Okay. So on the 29th, there may be a lot of arguments. There may be something in the news regarding a leader. Okay. Aries represents a leader. Let me see if I have keywords for Aries here. Let me see if I wrote them down. Actually, I have them in another note, and I'm going to tell you Aries real quick because I want you to know. Actually, I should just like redirect you to another video. Where did I put I cannot even find it, you guys. I cannot believe that I cannot find my notes. That is Mercury retrograding for sure. Let me see. Do I have it here? I just did this video yesterday. Anyway, I just really wanted to be very detailed and I wanted you guys to know. But anyway, I will tell you off the cuff of everything that I can remember. And I'm such a notes person. That's why I'm adamant of looking at my notes. But okay, so let me tell you the things that I can think of Aries. Okay. Leadership, something new, something first, very fast energy. Okay. All these things are going to be bigger than ever. Okay. So, anyone being bold, the secrets are being told, and it may not be secrets, but it's something that is like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe they said that. That kind of energy. Aries represents red, it represents blood, it represents war, conflict. All of that is going to be stronger at that time. Anything dealing with sharp objects. So maybe someone's sharp at the tongue. Okay, that also is what that represents, cutting you with your words, cutting you with their thoughts, cutting you with their lyrics, cutting you with anything that is dealing with Mercury. Okay, and Mercury is also the energy of thinking, intellect, communication. All that is just going to be so strong. So I just, predictions here is that I think there's going to be a lot of fights, a lot of arguments, not physical fights, but a lot of arguments. I see that happening while it's in Aries. Okay, let me see if I have anything else. Something dealing with leadership too is what I see as well. Okay, let me see. I might have Aries when I discuss. Okay. All right. So I just want you to be clear of that. Now, not only do we have that happening, and all this is happening this week, so it's a lot going on. Okay. Not only do we have Mercury retrograding in Aries, and it's going to hit 0 degrees, double red, very strong, very potent, a lot of arguments. Okay. Also, too, this could be dealing with athletes or someone being very selfish energy. It's all about me, 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 and not you. Also, the energy of conflicts. I said being first, the individual, something dealing with the head too. A lot of things dealing with the head as well. Sorry, that was my phone ringing. But then also too, if you see here, then Mercury enters. It moves kind of fast, but let me see. If you see here, Mercury is going to sit here and it's going to conjunct Neptune as well, and it's going to hit it at 29 degrees, and it's going to happen really fast. Okay. Let me see if I can show you Mercury conjunct Neptune. Let me see if I can show you really fast when it happens. This is going to happen at 7 p.m. Okay. Now, around this time, there could be, okay, around 7 p.m. on the 29th, it could be the energy of, where is it? Where is it? We have here. You see, it's in Pisces and it's at 29 degrees. There could be a secret announcement. There may be an announcement that we don't even know, but maybe something that's very secretive. It may not come out, we may not see it, or it may be secret and we won't even see it at all. Okay. But you're talking about Mercury is about our communication, our intellect, our mind, our information, data. It's how we learn, early education, early learning, travel. Okay. Someone can get lost when traveling. Transportation, day-to-day transportation. It's our technology. It's our gadgets. Any type of gadget that's dealing with communication, that is it. Okay. It's also business and commerce. So like when you buy something and when you're selling something, it's dealing with dexterity. Okay, and coordination. This is all about our hands and multitasking. It's networking and connection and our perception and awareness. It influences how we perceive our surroundings, especially our immediate surroundings, right? Again, Pisces, spiritual, transcendence, dreams, imagination, empathy, compassion, your intuition, your psychic ability, creativity, artistic ability, sensitivity, being vulnerable, being fluid, being adaptable, okay? Yes, okay, I can do what you want to do. Oh, sure, I don't mind if we change strategies or if I change my mind. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm fluid. I'm adaptable. Very Pisces, okay? Things that are unseen, sacrifice, selflessness. You are not you went from being selfish in Aries and now, and really talking about everyone, and now you're like, you know what? I don't care. I'll sacrifice myself. Now, there's also an element of fear when you are dealing with Pisces, because Pisces is the unknown. I want you to understand, is dealing with the unknown. When you have the unknown, what are you? There's fear, okay? Also, it's very highly sensitive. There's anxieties, there's a feeling of being overwhelmed, there's a feeling of the world is suffering and you're suffering, and you don't want to confront that, okay? Also, there's secrets, okay? So now when you have Mercury retrograding in Pisces, and now it's conjunct at Neptune, and it will happen really fast. You could be muddled in communication, a lot of loss. People are going to be lying. Okay, when this happens, if it happens at night and you're out and about and you're with people, you're like, why are they lying, or why are they causing confusion? Like, we're trying to come in this club, because I just imagine being at a club, right? We're trying to come in this club and they're saying we can't go in, we can't come in. Oh, now they're saying we don't know, there's confusion. Maybe someone's tweeting something that's supposed to be a secret, or maybe there's secret meetings happening and there's confusion and there's lost in the sauce. A lot of emotional thinking too. People are not being rational. They're not using their logic mind. That's in a backseat. Now there is emotions are involved. Everyone's highly sensitive. Okay. There could be like reevaluating and rethinking some dreams. Maybe there's creative blocks, and maybe you're, I would say, a creative block, or maybe you're really highly creative. That could be happening. Okay. Lost items in an email. Someone emailed something around 7 p.m. and then it got lost. Believe it or not, an email can get lost. Okay. Tech troubles, especially if you have that new update in Apple. That could be happening. Connecting with the past, need for solitude and reflection, challenges with clarity and boundaries, focus on inner understanding. Okay. General things is that there could be some communication hiccups. Okay. Your intuition would 100% probably be more trustworthy than the logic. Okay. Or maybe people are questioning your intuition. Okay. Yeah, dreams could hold some strong significance. Are the dreams, for some reason, is really confusing you? Okay. Be cautious of important decisions. Anything dealing with tech wise, being lost while you are traveling is a big thing that I can see happening here. A lot of travel delays, a lot of past relationships I said before. Retrogrades are all about reassessing and reviewing, and very highly emotional, and it's very strong spiritual element. Someone communicating you spiritually will be a very positive thing on this aspect. However, a delusion is also a thing. Okay. And remember, 29 degrees is a very potent degree. There's a sense of closing, an urgency, or an intensity added to this. So heightened illusion, heightened fantasy, extreme sensitivity when it comes to communication, or maybe there's some powerful intuitive insights, or maybe you're overly overwhelmed with emotions. There could be a major creative surge happening as well. Yeah, but just know that a lot of difficulty with clarity, a lot of lost in the sauce, misunderstandings. I don't know how I can keep repeating this. Okay. A lot of illusions. I do think if there's something in the news that's going to be said this week, don't believe them. Don't believe it. Okay. Something with Jeffrey Epstein, something dealing with Israel, because Israel represents a religion, something dealing with Iran and Iraq. They're very strong with Pisces themes. Illusions, deceptions, don't believe it. Okay. Even with, if it comes to a leader or a government and they're saying something, I just would not, I would assume that it's an illusion. And when Mercury stops retrograding, the illusions will be lifted. Okay. Yeah. So let me see what else. Be extra mindful of any form of communication. Trust your intuition and verify it. Embrace creativity, but don't get lost in fantasy. Practice compassion and set some boundaries. Reflect on what needs to be released. What do you need to forgive? Okay. And we're not just talking about personal forgiveness. This is also a collective forgiveness. Okay. If you need to forgive Jewish people, forgive them. Vice versa. If Jewish people need to forgive Muslims, or you need to forgive Muslims. I'm just telling you, this is the energy of releasing and forgiving. Okay. It's an energy of compassion, and you have to redo this. Okay. Avoid major decisions if possible. Pay attention to synchronicities. Okay. Neptune involved. You may notice that things are not a coincidence. And you have to pay attention to the signs, because God's trying to give you guidance and awareness. Okay. Now, also, we have an eclipse that's happening this same time. Okay. This eclipse, this is the solar eclipse. I've done, like I said, several videos on this eclipse. I've done all the horoscopes on this eclipse. This eclipse is going to happen at 3:57 a.m. Okay. Now, before Mercury enters Pisces, retrograding, it's going to have this eclipse first, right? This eclipse is at 9 degrees. I talked about this. It's at 9 degrees, perfectly at 9 degrees. Okay. So when I looked at the Sabian symbol, there's something that's dealing with your intuition, something that is, if you feel it, if your intuition is telling you something in regards to starting new or being a leader or yourself, follow that intuition, because it's this is something with divination. Okay. It's going to be right. Okay. So this eclipse, which I've discussed, but we're going to redo it, is about new beginnings, being assertive. It's about leadership. It's about being strong. It's about the sense of self. It's about setting some new intentions. Okay. Now, don't set the intentions during the eclipse. Don't do anything during the 29th. Relax and let go, because eclipses are very sporadic. They're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Okay. So you don't want to do any, if you like believe in magic, if you believe in like writing things down, no, not today, not on the 29th. Let it go. Okay. Now solar eclipse is a new moon, and when it's an eclipse, it's a new moon on steroids. Okay. It's a partial eclipse. And partial eclipse means that it's not totally blocked off by the moon or the sun, so you can see it. Okay. And it's going to be early in the morning at 3:57. It's a sense of focusing on self, taking initiative, potential for conflict, sudden events or an insight, something that can happen really fast. Also, it's the closing off something that's ending and something that is going to be beginning. Okay. It's dealing with courage and leadership. It could be dealing with something with leaders. Okay. It's also connected to the North Node. So the North Node is not, as to me, as negative, because it means that it's bringing something new. Some people don't like newness. Okay. You know, like how you have Doge happening, and that's a new program. I've never heard of Doge. I think Trump started Doge. That's something new, right? So it could be something in that element that is new, and you may not like it. Some people like Doge. Some people dislike Doge, but that is the same with this North Node, meaning that someone, you may like it, someone else may not like it, because some people don't like new things. Now, there's several things happening with this eclipse, right? Now, it's going to be conjunct Mercury. Mercury is retrograding Aries. We discussed that. That means there could be something bold and something new starting. And it could be a confrontation. It could be dealing something with leadership. It may not happen on the 29th, because when you're dealing with the eclipse, this lasts for some time now. Okay. I talked about the timing and how long it is. I don't have it in these notes, but check out all the previous videos, because I discussed that. So it could be something about a fresh perspective, and it's moving forward. That could be happening, and you're discussing it, you're planning it, you sign a contract for it, because Mercury's involved. Mercury deals with contracts, Mercury deals with commerce, Mercury deals with travel, Mercury deals with all forms of communication and thinking, right? Now, also too, we have it sitting close to Mercury is sitting close to Neptune, right? So you do have it with that, and there is a huge spiritual aspect dealing with this as well. Now, also too, Pluto's involved, right? We haven't talked about Pluto. Pluto's been sitting here in his lonesome, but Pluto is the reason why people are at school protesting. Pluto is the reason why all these protests, when you have that, I was going to say BLM, the protests for Amazon and Target, that is Pluto in Aquarius. Okay. But you have this, and it's sitting at 3 degrees, and this is also sextile the eclipse. That's positive. So there is going to be either an intensity that's positive for this eclipse of starting something new, or there is this energy of a rebellion that could be happening, or a transformation that could be happening, and it's empowering you, or it's like power to the people and power to you as well. And it's like you're working together for the greater good of the future. Okay. Because Aquarius does represent the future as well. Okay. Now, that is what we have. And then, okay, not only do we have the eclipse, we have another big doozy. And this is what we're closing this month off with. Okay. First of all, Neptune is entering the building of Aries. Okay. You guys, Neptune is going to be at 0 degrees in Aries, meaning that it's going to be super strong. Okay. And on the 30th, is this the 30th or the 31st? This is the 30th. It looks like, let me tell you exactly when Neptune enters. Neptune enters Aries, which I've done a video on this. So it probably has the exact time. It enters Aries at 4:57 a.m. Okay. So March 30th, when you wake up, Neptune will fully be in Aries. And this is how we are closing off the month of Aries, a month of March. Okay. And we are starting something that's really, really huge and new. Okay. I've done a big video on this. I've talked about predictions, and I'm just going to tell you that when last time we had Neptune in Aries, there was a civil war. Okay. Aries does represent war. I don't know if you have to know astrology. This is the video that I've done on it. I don't know if you have to know astrology to know that there's rumblings of war that's going to be happening, but Neptune entering Aries solidify as me as an astrologer that will be happening. But there's other things that could be happening here. First of all, Neptune is about our dreams and illusions, spirituality, our intuition, our psychic ability, creativity, the collective, the oneness, charity, compassion, empathy, romance, the ideal of romance, right? It is the secrets, it's the deception, it's the corruption, it's the luluness, it acts the confusion. It is in charge of all the crazy people, it's in charge of all the people who are locked up, it's in charge of all the drugs, the narcotics, medication as well, because that is a drug. Yeah, a lot of delusions and boundaries, right? You have that, and mysticals. It also represents occults, especially those spiritual occults. And yes, anyone who's sacrificing a subtle of indirectness, that is that that is that Neptune. Neptune is also in charge of Hollywood. Believe it or not, you think Leo represents Hollywood and the sun, if you know astrology, but Hollywood has a lot of secrets and illusions. If you think about the glamour of Hollywood, right? You think about that they put on a wig, a lace front, a push-up bra, they get their facelift, they lie about their age, they lie about their size, they're lying about their diets or if they had surgeries. All that is an illusion. All that is dealing with secrets, and all that is dealing with glamour. So it does represent Hollywood. So let's see the new beginnings and a new start of Hollywood. Okay, healing and wholeness. It also can represent that spiritual healing and that spiritual wholeness. Also, Neptune represents water and oceans, and it's going to be in a fire sign, so we could be dealing with a lot of fire in the water. I know that's like, what, that doesn't make sense, but let's see how. Remember Mars in Cancer, we just had that fires in LA in a water sign, and you saw that the water is sitting right there, and it's like, why can't you just take that water from the beach and put out the fire? But you see there is that connection there, that so there could be something like that we could be seeing. We'll see. Again, unknown secrets. Now you have Aries, new beginnings, initiative, assertiveness, independence, not creativity, being courageous, being brave, being enthusiastic and energetic. And I knew I had Aries themes written down here. Also, Aries represents impulsivity, being very spontaneous, because the best thing about Aries, you guys, I'm doing all these book series within a sign and reading the books, and my Neptune is in the first house, so it really helps me understand astrology even more, even though I study astrology every day. It's a part of my life. But you get that sense of why Aries energy needs to be impulsive and spontaneous in order to be brave, in order to be the hero. And Aries is the daredevil, it's the hero of astrology. In order to have that, you have to move without thinking, because when you start to add logic, then you start to say, wait a minute, I'm not going to be courageous here. But how can you be courageous if you don't be impulsive and spontaneous? And now Neptune is entering this, so we'll get into that a little bit more. Also, there's Aries is all about competitive. It has the drive, it has the motivation, there's leadership, there's the one, there's the boss, there's the top, there's number one. Individuality, directness, honest, passion, intensity, also impatience, aggression, temper. So we are going to see some more spiritual energy with aggression. We'll see how that goes. And that to me just only says religious and war. Okay, Neptune is spirituality, and spirituality is connected to religion and conflict and temper. So people who are dealing with a more religious background could be more confrontational than ever when you have Neptune in Aries. It's also, Aries is about the focus of self and physical action. It's the physical body asserting itself. It's a very external energy, and it's about fresh starts and renewals. Okay, so we can have some rise of spiritual movements. Again, war and religion, war and spirituality. Okay, you could have some new artists that are coming out, some literal movements, people who are very artistic and are dealing with artists of the body, are no boundaries of the body. And this just happened, which made me kind of mad this morning. The real ID. I talked about this in my video. Okay, this was already in my predictions, and it's mandatory. It's going to be mandatory as of November 7th. If you are in America, you have to have real ID. And it's almost like, what was this ID before? Was it an illusion? Was it fake? But now you have a new identity that is starting in pictures. And Neptune also represents photography. And so now this new ID needs to be aware within photography, which is a physical ID that you have to have. That is going to be mandatory May 7th, which is something I already discussed in a previous video. Increased focus on individual rights and freedom, a spiritual warrior. That could be happening, blurred lines between dreams and actions, the idealized self image. Okay. Really thinking of yourself as like, I am the leader. And it's a delulu, is an illusion, confusion in asserting identity. And that's part of that new ID that I just talked about, that the real ID. There could be a very compassionate leader, though. So on the top of having an illusional a leader, someone who is not really the leader, but they're acting like they're a leader. They're being very deceptive and secretive. They really don't believe in the cause. That could be happening at the same time. There could be a very compassionate leader coming up. Okay. There could be a lot of illusions with competitions while Neptune is in Aries. What else do we have? Exploration through action, and it could be spiritual exploration, like you're taking a physical retreat to become more spiritual. That could be really popular happening. Vulnerability and assertiveness, difficulty in being assertive due to underlying insecurities and fear of confrontation. There could be mystical courage. What do we have? Idealized beginnings, new relationships and ventures might be based on unrealistic expectations. The ego, the self, that could be dissolving. Or it could be the delulu of the self, right? Maybe being really impulsive when it comes to spirituality, when it comes to religion. A lot of people starting a new religion, that could be happening as well. Get ready for that. Confusion in setting personal goals, vulnerability in spiritual scams. Again, that goes with the delulu of things. A search for the perfect beginning, a tendency to delay taking action while waiting for this ideal inspirational beginning. Okay. During this, while Neptune is in Aries, which will be in Aries for a good minute, okay, we have to have an awareness of self, okay, and having a sense of groundedness and being very practical. Have a strength of your personal self and identity, so it won't be so fluid and lost in the sauce. Practice self-reliance, develop healthy boundaries, ground your spirituality, have that grounded energy, use discernment also too. But it's a great time to explore creativity and starting something new creatively, and starting a new charity. This is great for all that too. Okay. Yes, so that is what we have for this week. I'm going to pull some few cards for the collective. And the reason why I'm not doing horoscopes this week is because I've done horoscopes on all of these already. Every single thing that I mentioned, I've already done horoscopes. This is just getting more detailed in it. Okay. I'm going to pull some cards for us, everyone who's watching. I'm going to pull some cards for you who's watching. We have the Emperor in reverse. This is a leader, a fallen leader. It makes me think that a leader, there is going to be an ending of a leader. That Neptune and Aries could definitely represent that. Okay. Or someone who's really having a big ego or power struggles, immaturity, a very insecure leader too is what that could represent. Poor planning, domineering, rigid or reckless. Now, this could be something that we could see in this happening. And here you're getting a foresight, you're getting an early prediction of that. At the same time, for you personally, we have the Knight of Wands in reverse. It's like you're losing your drive, and we want to know why. We want to know, how can you not lose your drive here? It's like you're frustrated. You could be having a temper. Okay, let's see what you need to do to not have that temper. We have the King of Pentacles in reverse. It looks like there is an issue of finances, okay? And it's going to make you lose your temper. Now, how can you what is it that you need to do to make that temper not be so angry when it comes to your finances or when it comes to your health? You need to be more realistic, okay? You need a reality check. Wake up, use this newness to wake up, okay? Make this upright. It's all about being practical. It's all about saving money. It's also thinking about long term. It's also being responsible. Do not be lost in the sauce, okay? As a collective, active. You need to be very responsible. Okay. I just want to make sure all these cards are not in reverse. Okay, so now let's pull a card for the collective. Okay, you guys may be losing your temper. You may be very impatient, and that is because your pentacle cards is in reverse. So that basically means everyone who's watching this video that it's in reverse. That means that you're not being grounded. You're not being practical. You're not taking the time to be responsible. You're not paying attention to the details, and you need to do those things in order to thrive, in order to be patient, in order to take your time and move slow. You're moving too fast. Everyone take their time and move slow. I didn't say also too that Mercury in Pisces also could be some accidents that are about death, because Pisces does represent death. So I do want you to understand that everyone needs to slowly. There could be a big death too when you have Mercury retrograding in Pisces conjunct at Neptune around 7 p.m. I'm not saying that you're going to be in a crash, but like maybe a crash or a death, a big accident too with traveling far as death. That could be happening too. Okay, so now let's see what else we have. First we'll put it on big thing that's happening. Let me just go over all the aspects here and pull a card for each big one here. Venus retrograding in Pisces. What do we have for this? We have the Wheel of Fortune. So get ready for a lot of mutable energy, meaning things moving up and down. But there's karma. If you have positive karma will come your way. Okay. This also is about life cycles. Again, ups and downs. What is your destiny? Your destiny will be said with this Venus retrograding. There's going to be a turning point of some sort, and your destiny may be coming in some type of intuitive or psychic way. That could be happening. Okay. Now, Venus conjunct at Neptune at 25 degrees, at 29 degrees, we have the Five of Cups. So a lot of people are going to be feeling like they have a sense of loss. There's going to be a big loss, a lot of grief happening here. Five of Cups is looking at what you don't have and not looking at what you do have. It's like you're crying over spilled milk, but you have a full carton behind you. But there's regret, failure, disappointment, grief, pessimism, negative energy, sadness, mourning, discontent. It could be a sense of loss. Okay. Now, when Mercury is retrograding in Pisces, what do we have? We have another card that is the Judgment card in reverse. Now, the Judgment card is a huge card, right? It's a major arcana. That means there's a transformation, and it's almost like you're not doing your true calling, okay? There's some unfinished business. There's self-doubt. There's self-loathing, negativity, failure to learn. And there has to be something that has to be learned, and you're not doing it because Mercury is retrograding, and you need to learn the lesson. A lot of self-doubt happening there too. Transformation, not doing your true calling, not doing what God is really calling you to do. Okay. Because it's like you're not awakened. Yeah, you're not following your life purpose. Okay. Now, when it conjuncts Neptune, let's see what we have when it's conjunct Neptune. Oh, we have the Hangman. Hangman is not in reverse, but the card's already a card that's in reverse. If you see here, so this is someone who is pausing. This is someone who's taking their time. This is someone who is going behind closed doors. They're retreating. There's solitude. They're letting go. There's forgiveness. They're waiting. Also, they're changing their perspective on things. Okay. So when Mercury hits Neptune, maybe it won't be as negative as these other placements that's been happening. But there's a sense of having a new perspective. There's a sense of sacrificing, giving up yourself, healing, contemplation. Also, there's uncertainty there. So be ready for that. Now, what do we have for this eclipse? For this eclipse, we have the High Priestess. Oh, wow. And I told you that this eclipse is strongly connected to a very spiritual aspect. It has 9 degrees in Aries. There's something with divination here. So there's something that is dealing with psychic ability. So if you dream it, it can happen. Words are very powerful. Thoughts are very powerful. And that makes me think of this eclipse here. Okay. So it's something with your intuition. There's sacred knowledge. There's divine femininity. There's inner knowing. There's subconscious energy, higher power, inner voice. Inner voice is what I get. I get psychic ability. And that is what you have with the High Priestess. The High Priestess is a very strong energy of spirituality, a strong energy of intuition, a strong energy of psychic ability. The spiritual realm is very strong. They're intelligent when it comes to psychic and intuitive energy. Okay. And that is what you have with this eclipse. So use this eclipse, not the day of the eclipse. Okay. Do it after do it the day before. So do it on the 29th, do it on the 30th. But at that time, you need to have a strong sense of like, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to connect with it. And I'm going to do it. I'm going to have the power to do it. I'm going to have the psychic ability to address my fears and be strong and courageous, especially with that Neptune in Aries, which we're going to pull a card in Neptune Aries. Ooh, we have the Swords card here. The Ace of Swords. And this Neptune in Aries is going to bring some truth. The Neptune in Aries is going to bring breakthrough. It's going to bring insight. It's going to bring new ideas, maybe a focus on something, success. Also, when you have a sword, what do you have? Fights, war, sharp, fighting. So you also have that as well. Okay. So that is what we have for this week, you guys. In my next video, I'm going to do what we have in February, all the transits in February. Also to look out for an upcoming video for me doing tarot reading of February. You guys check out, not February. What is the month? January, February, March, April. Sorry, of April. All the transits that we have coming up in April, and also tarot reading in April. I do want you to know that I do this myself. I always look at the past video. I mean, I'm a Cancer. See like, oh my gosh, how accurate that was. Look at my past tarot reading. You can even look at the astrology, see how accurate it was, and then carry it on to the new reading. So you can learn some lessons, because you can't move on to the future if you don't release the past. Okay. Yes, that's what we have. Oh, let me pull one oracle card, because I feel like it. Just for the collective and us, we have the sweet oblivion, uncertainty, fate, and humor. It's okay. I don't know what I'm doing either. You know what? I don't have a card here. This is 40. This is also dealing with stability and infinite possibilities here. Sweet oblivion. That makes me think that you need to be optimistic. You need to think positive. And there is uncertainty, but you need to have faith, and you need to enjoy some fun. Have some fun while you are happening this week. Okay. Everyone, live light, be positive, be optimistic, and know like, okay, sure, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm going to have fun. I'm going to enjoy life. I'm going to enjoy the sun, embrace spring and new beginnings. Okay. That is what I have for you guys. I hope you guys enjoyed. Did I show you guys this card? I don't know if I showed you. For those of you guys who are watching, here is the card. Don't forget to sign up for my newsletter, because I, sum this all up in brief wording, and then you can look it up as the week goes on. All right. I will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye bye.